In total, I have read approximate 100 books till now, and out of those 100 books, there are 33 books that have an impact on me, that have had a significant impact on me for one reason or the other. I'm not saying all these books are super amazing, but there is something about those books which is, and that's what I'm going to share with you all. What made a book special for me and how it impacted me and why it did. That's all I'm going to share with you all in this video. Since it worked out well, out of 133, 1/3 books out of all the books that I have read. So yeah, that worked out for itself also. As the video got long, in the previous video we already talked about 11 such books, and in this video also we'll probably talk about 11 or 22 if I don't have much to say. So yeah, let's see. Okay, so first book that we are going to talk about now, this is the book that I always talk about, book that I always recommend to everyone, and it's this one, India After Gandhi. Before we talk about this, like, see how big the book is. And I've read this book. Like, I've completed this book. I've completely read this book. Oh my god. Let's take a moment here. You can appreciate me in the comments below, like how I read such a big book on history. Come on. People don't even read their history books, and I've read this. I deserve some appreciation for this. You feel free to appreciate me. I don't mind at all, trust me. I got to know about this book from one of my professor when I wanted to do an MBA. So they said that it is very important, you should read this book. And I got this book. I thought I'd read it. Honestly, it took me a long time to complete this book. I used to read a few chapters. I mean, let's not get into how I finished this book. Let's talk about how this book is, and that is amazing. There are so many things, so many things I didn't know about. Means you should know those kind of things about your country, but obviously I didn't, क्योंकि हमारे स्कूल में भी जो हिस्ट्री हमें पढ़ाई जाती है वो इंडिपेंडेंस तक होती है, बट इंडिपेंडेंस के बाद अभी तक 1947 से, एंड नाउ दिस वीडियो इज गोइंग टू गो इन 2022, कितना कुछ हुआ है जिनके बारे में हमें पता भी नहीं. We know a little about these things, but we don't know the chronology. We don't know how those things are related to each other. We just know a few incidents that have happened, but we should know more. We should know about our country. Come on. Because इतने लंबे टाइम पीरियड के बारे में ये बुक है, so it's not boring at all like you would think about a history book that it's boring. Trust me, it's not. So that is why I love this book, and that is why I ask every one of you to read this book. You should know all these things. You should, and you will feel good about yourself when you read this book, because come on, you have read such a thick book, and more importantly, you will get to know so much about your country. It is a must read. All Indians who are watching this video, do read this book. Do read it. You should read this book. So yeah, I can't say more. I can say a lot more. Maybe I'll dedicate one video to this only, where I'll just keep talking about this book, why you should read it. Maybe I'll share a few things in this book. Not a bad idea. I can do that. So yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, I've got an idea. Let's see if I work on it, because this book is massive. If I'm going to make a video on this, it will take me a lot of time, but let's see. But till then, you can pick this book up and read it. Alright, let's keep this. Or should I keep it somewhere where you can see? Okay, so here you can see the books that we have already talked about somehow. Alright, the next book that we are going to talk about, it's a fiction. In fiction, these thrillers, suspense, psychological thrillers, these are my favorite, and I didn't know these were my favorite till I read this book, the book that I'm going to talk about, and it's The Silent Patient. I read this on recommendation of my friend, and I have been a fan of this genre ever since, and this is the perfect book to start reading it. It is actually one of those books that you can't put down. There's no hyperbole in it. And the twist, जो आप चाहते हो ना इस तरीके की बुक से, सस्पेंस, मिस्ट्री, थ्रिलर काइंड ऑफ बुक से, जो आप चाहते हो कि ऐसा कुछ एकदम से अलग सा हो जाए, that you will be thinking, oh, what? Okay, you know, those kind of massive twists that you do not see coming. It has that. After this, I've read many thrillers, many psychological thrillers, because I wanted that rush. But अच्छी थी और भी books, but none of the book was as good as this one. So that is why this book, ये हमेशा मेरी fiction में भी top पे रहती है. Overall जो books मैंने अभी तक पढ़ी हैं उनकी भी top पे रहती है, because this book is so good. So you know, by the number of so's you know how much I like this book. अगर आपको इस genre की book पढ़नी है, mystery, suspense, psychological thriller, तो सबसे पहले आप यही पढ़ना. So that is why this book is here. One of my favorite. This and you know, this book is by a first time writer. तो पहली बार उन्होंने ये book लिखी थी. So what can I say? Okay, let's keep it here. मुझे लग रहा है ये गिर जाएंगी, but जब तक ये टिकता है वहाँ पे तब तक let's keep them there. Next, okay, now let's talk about a non-fiction book, but another non-fiction book which was super thrilling and which I couldn't put down, and it's Bad Blood. Now this book, the language of this book is a little hard, that I would say in the starting only, कि आप लोग जैसे इस book को उठाओगे. So like The Silent Patient was pretty easy to read compared to this one. And also this is a non-fiction, it's not a thriller book, but इस book को पढ़ते हुए बहुत आपको ऐसे thrilling feeling आएगी, और it will be like you are on a roller coaster ride and you'll be like क्या हो रहा है. So basically this book is about a company, and the company name was Theranos, and the CEO was Elizabeth Holmes. It was a biotech company. They did not had any technology, and still the company, she grew the company to $1 billion company without having any technology. Now अगर ये बाकी किसी इंडस्ट्री में होता है, सपोज सॉफ्टवेयर इंडस्ट्री में, तब भी इट्स रॉन्ग, बट स्टिल इट इज यू नो, कुछ रियल लाइफ कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज इतने ज़्यादा डायरेक्टली नहीं होते. बट इफ इट इज अ बायोटेक कंपनी, पीपल्स लाइव्स आर इन्वॉल्व्ड, and it's very important how you handle them. And she did not have the technology, and there were so many high profile people on her board. So how did this all happen? ये बुक उसी जर्नलिस्ट ने लिखी है जिसने एक्सपोज किया था इस पूरे स्कैंडल को. आपको पता होगा रिजल्ट की, हाँ इवेंचुअली तो हो ही जाएगा सब ठीक, या नॉट सब ठीक, बट that the truth will come out, तभी ये बुक लिखी गई है. But still you will be constantly rooting for him. You will be like how that the entire thing is going to come out. You will be like, you will be at the edge of your seat, and again one of those books that you won't be able to put down. And also that book that, because that will make you feel good, एंड आपको बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलेगा, आपको नॉलेज मिलेगी, अच्छा ऐसा भी होता है दुनिया में, लोग अपनी कंपनी के लिए इतना कुछ करते हैं, क्या क्या कर जाते हैं. सो इट्स ऑल्सो टेरिफाइंग एट टाइम्स टू रीड वॉट ऑल शी डिड, बट yeah, must read, you should know about all that. And also super exciting, it was a great read. So that is why this book is here. And it was, I think, the first time I read a book like this, where a business case study or a scandal. So very yeah, I had a great time reading this book. Let it go here. It's safe till now. So since we are talking about these books, let's talk about another one of these books, a book which was super thrilling, a book I couldn't put down, and this is also a non-fiction. Okay, so this video, like in this part of the video, this is another book of the genre, but trust me, all books are not like that. It is just a coincidence. And the book that I'm talking about, it's Mossad. Now this is about the real life spy activities of Israeli Secret Service Agency. Like these things actually happened. So अगर आप मूवी देखते हो तो you get this much thrill. अगर आप कोई नॉवल पढ़ोगे तो you get this much. And when you read a non-fiction book, like it's not a fiction, this is not a novel, whatever have been said in this book actually happened. So the level of thrill that you'll get reading this book is going to be next level. I mean, I wanted to become a secret service agent after reading this book. That died fast after that, but for a moment I wanted, means reading about it, obviously आपको लगेगा कितनी thrilling life ये लोग, how adventurous. but they have their consequences. But when you'll read this book, you again one of those book you won't be able to put down, and आपको बहुत अच्छा लगेगा. You'll get to know कि क्या क्या होता है and how कि आपको जैसे हमें कितना कम पता होता है कि एक्चुअली हमारा कंट्री क्या क्या कर रहा है हमें प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए. So you will get to know everything. Also, ये जो इसराइल की सीक्रेट सर्विस एजेंसी है मोसाद, दिस इज कंसिडर अमंग द बेस्ट. CIA से कंपेयर किया जाता है जो कि US की इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसी है. तो दीज टू आर द बेस्ट इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसी. एंड तो सोचो उन्हीं के मिशंस के बारे में, रियल लाइफ मिशंस, और जो मिशंस इस बारे में यहाँ पे मेंशन्ड है आप गूगल कर सकते हो. And then you will be even more excited. You will read about those. You will see the people involved. Some of them are still alive, and आप उनके इंटरव्यू देख सकते हो. You can read more about it, and you'll be like so excited because all these things happened. It's like, and ऐसा नहीं कि एक मिशन है. So there are chapters, और हर चैप्टर में एक नया मिशन है, एक नया. So हर चैप्टर पे एक मूवी बन सकती है या सीरीज बन सकती है, और बहुत सारे चैप्टर्स पे हैं भी मूवीज और सीरीज. सोचो कि इट्स लाइक इतनी सारी अच्छी मूवीज और सीरीज एक में ही है. सो यू विल बी सुपर थ्रिल्ड एंड विल थैंक मी आफ्टर रीडिंग दिस बुक कि ओके यू हैव टोल्ड अस अबाउट सच अ ग्रेट बुक. सो या दैट इज व्हाई यू रीड दिस बुक. यू विल बी थ्रिल्ड एंड you will get to know so much how much these intelligence officers do for us, and yeah, that is why you pick this book up. Right, we have talked a lot about now thriller books, so let's shift it a little and talk about a more subtle book. Okay, so we'll go with this one, Crazy Rich Asians. Now this one is a fiction and a comic fiction, and it was humorous. I was laughing reading this book. I enjoyed it. One of the drawback I would say was बहुत because it is जो इनकी फैमिली है that is huge. So मुझे स्टार्टिंग में काफ़ी टाइम लगा था समझने में, बट एज आप बुक पढ़ोगे तो आपको समझ में आता रहेगा, and it will get easier. I'll show you the family chart. So you see, this is the family chart. But eventually it gets easier, so that's fine. And ये बुक भी मुझे अच्छी लगी. It's basically a trilogy. इसके बाकी के जो 2 parts हैं, especially the second part, that is my favorite. Second part is China Rich Girlfriend, and that is my favorite of all 3. And उसके बाद last part जो है, that is Rich People Problems. That's also very good, but second part is my favorite. I couldn't stop laughing. How do I explain? Like this. ऐसा नहीं कि इसमें जोक्स हैं, बट जिस तरीके से दे हैव शोन ना चाइनीज, एंड दे आर सुपर रिच एज इट यू कैन सी फ्रॉम द टाइटल. सो द फैमिली इज सुपर रिच एंड दे डू थिंग्स एंड इट्स वेरी फनी. इस पर मूवी भी है क्रेजी रिच एशियंस, बट इज नो वे कंपेयर टू द बुक. बाय द वे, अगर if you can read the book and then read the second part also, that's a must. Just so when the series got over after the 3rd part, I wanted to read more. It was so good and light read comic. You'll be laughing reading this, you will be smiling. So yeah, super fun read, a nice read, and yeah, that is why I love this book. And you can read this book for this season if you want to read a little comedy book, a book that you will be laughing while you are reading the book. And yeah, that is why you can pick this book up, and that is why I like this book, especially for its second part. That is super awesome. But this part is also good. This part is also pretty good. Next book that we are going to talk about, it's so good they can't ignore you. You might have seen this book in my display picture on YouTube as well on Instagram. There was not any reason to put it, बस मुझे वो इमेज अच्छी लगी थी, and I also didn't want to show my face in my DP, so it was good. It was like this something, and so इसलिए बस मैंने लगा ली थी. There was not a reason, but eventually I kept it because I really like this line. So good they can't ignore you, and that has become, I won't say my motto, but that is what I want to move towards, or that is what I want to strive. Because see, there are many ways of getting success. इतनी पॉलिटिक्स होती है, then there are marketing firms, PR firms and all. I'm not saying all that is bad, but इस book में ये बताया कि if you become so good that no one can ignore you just by your work, then you won't need anything, and this applies everywhere. Suppose you are an engineer, so if you improve your skills so much that no one can ignore you. Nepotism, favorism, nothing can come in your path, because you will be so good and every company would want you. And that goes for everything. If you are a doctor and you become so skilled, if you treat patients so well, everyone will come to you. You won't have to advertise, you won't have to do anything. Word of mouth will be enough to help you. And that goes for each and every business. And that is what I really like about this book. So it is like a good reminder. तो इस बुक में ये सब बता रखा है, how you can become so good that no one can ignore you. जैसे कि we run after our passion. आजकल लोग इसलिए कैरियर भी बहुत ज़्यादा स्विच करने लगे हैं. They don't just switch job because they are looking for something they are more passionate about, but again they don't like it, then they shift to something else. So what he has suggested instead is कि हमें कोई भी job या कोई भी काम तब अच्छा लगता है when we are good at it, then we feel good about the work. So if you put in effort instead of being about passion, if you put in effort to whatever you are doing, you become good at it, then you will be, अब खुद से आपको इस काम के बारे में अच्छा लगने लगेगा, and obviously you will grow with it. That is one of the thing that has been mentioned in this book. और भी बहुत सारी चीज़ें इस बुक में बताई गई हैं कैसे आप काम कर सकते हो, because there are so many times that we just don't feel like doing, but you know, people who do things when they don't feel like doing, they are the one who eventually succeed. It's easy to go with your gut feeling and not do things when you don't feel like doing. So you know, there are techniques, strategies given on how you can make yourself work, and there are some great examples. This book was also boring at times, a little boring. So I'm not saying this book is super awesome and you'll gain so much out of it, but if you want to grow in your career, if you want to build something, if you want to improve your work ethics, if you want to see how you can advance in your career, then you should definitely pick this book up. And even if you don't, just remember this line, so good they can't ignore you. So yeah, this is also a pretty good line to remember and keep in mind whenever you see yourself lagging, or whenever you feel like not doing something, or whenever you feel like not putting, you know, appropriate amount of effort. Then if you think of this line, I think this can guide you. So yeah, keep this in mind. Next book that we are going to talk about is, okay, this is also one of those books that have stayed with me, and it's The Moment of Lift. This is a very beautiful book. It is a memoir come inspirational book. Melinda Gates have penned this book, and जैसे कि उन्होंने बहुत volunteer work करा है. She has her NGO जिसमें उन्होंने काफ़ी through her NGO she has helped people, और उन्होंने उन्हीं चीज़ों के बारे में इस book में बताया है. How just by lifting women we can lift up our country. So this book is very inspirational, and more than inspirational, it's a very feel-good book. Like reading this book, you will feel good about, you will just feel good and you will get to know a lot. क्योंकि बहुत सारी stories भी हैं लड़कियों की different countries से, और उन्होंने जो किया है. And whenever we think about helping people, बहुत basic ideas हमारे mind में आते हैं. जो चीज़ें इस बुक में दी गई हैं, I don't think we think about those things. I don't think we realize those things are needed. It's only when you go out, it's only when we talk about those people that we can truly understand their needs and work towards them. So this book was also very humbling, and you will get to know about the world, a lot about the world, and what is needed, what are the problems, what you can do to solve them. We all can, you know, contribute a little. So it was a very nice book. Reading the stories of the women that were in this book, you will feel inspired. Like you will genuinely feel inspired. How much courage they have, how much they tolerated, and still they didn't go bitter. They worked towards it, and they did what all they did was truly inspiring. So yeah, this book is amazing. I made my mother also read this book. She also really liked it. As I said, this book is really inspiring. And मैं ये सब बोल रही हूँ, इसका मतलब ये नहीं सिर्फ लड़कियों के लिए ये बुक है, लड़कों को भी ये बुक पढ़नी चाहिए. एंड इट्स नॉट एनीथिंग अगेंस्ट देम, it's just about women and what we can do to make the world a better place for them. And means reading this book, you will feel good, and also you will feel inspired, and you will get to know a lot. So I consider it a must read. I keep recommending this to people, and I'll recommend it to you guys as well. Definitely read this book. Okay, so touchwood, this has stayed proper. I thought ये गिर जाएगा भी. Okay, so before this falls, let's talk about another book. The next book that we are going to talk about is Mindf. This book is actually that, जो इसके टाइटल में लिखा है ना, this book will actually do that to you. It will, oh god, this book, I won't recommend this book to everyone because बहुत जगह कंप्यूटर साइंस के कॉन्सेप्ट्स भी बताए गए हैं. And I think it is easy to understand, but it might be difficult for some people. So I won't recommend this book to everyone. But if you don't mind googling a bit, then you can pick this book up. आप ये बुक पढ़ोगे, आपको पता चलेगा कि ये जो ट्रम्प के इलेक्शन के टाइम पे कंट्रोवर्सी हुई थी अबाउट रशियन हैकर्स, फेसबुक्स इन्वॉल्वमेंट, इट्स अबाउट ऑल दैट, हाउ आवर डेटा वाज यूज्ड टू मैनिपुलेट अस एंड हाउ फेसबुक यूजेस आवर डेटा. एंड ये जो डेटा के अराउंड इतनी कॉन्ट्रोवर्सी होती रहती है विद फेसबुक एंड विद एवरीवन, उसके बारे में भी आपको बहुत पता चलेगा. दिस बुक विल ऑल्सो टेरिफाई यू बिकॉज यू विल ऑल्सो गेट टू नो कि डेटा किस तरीके से यूज़ हो सकता है या फिर किस तरीके से ऑलरेडी यूज़ करते हैं. ये बुक पहले लिखी गई है. इस बुक में जो चीज़ें बताई गई वो उससे पहले हुई थी, और अभी तक कितना ज़्यादा और एडवांसमेंट आ चुकी हो गई कि अब लोग हमारा डेटा किस किस तरीके से यूज़ कर रहे होंगे. सो इट्स हॉरिफाइंग बट ऑल्सो मस्ट रीड. सबको पता होना चाहिए कि हमारा डेटा किस तरीके से यूज़ होता है एंड व्हाट आर द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज ऑफ इट. बहुत बार लोगों को समझ नहीं आता व्हाट इज़ द बिग डील अबाउट, व्हाट इज़ द बिग फर्स दैट इज गोइंग अराउंड डेटा. रीडिंग दिस बुक यू विल अंडरस्टैंड दैट. सो या, दैट इज़ व्हाई दिस बुक इज़ अ मस्ट रीड. You should know about your rights, you should know about your data, you should know how it can be used or how you can be manipulated by it. It's like, technology, there are good sides of it, bad, and it's true. It was horrifying at times reading this book. And I'm a computer science student, so I already knew about some of the things. And I knew how these things are used. I have worked on projects, something like that, not to this level obviously, but still I was terrified. I was like, what is going on and what will happen? So it is one of those books, but definitely a must read. Everyone, especially people of this generation, you should read this book because you will be living in this age only, with technology, with social media, with your data, with big companies. So you should be aware of how it can be used against you also. So yes, definitely a must read. Next, I'm going to talk about a book that was beyond amazing. One of the initial non-fiction book I read. One of those books that got me hooked to this non-fiction genre. बिकॉज इस बुक को पढ़ने से पहले मुझे पता नहीं था नॉन फिक्शन इतनी ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग हो सकती हैं, आपको इतना कुछ सीखने को मिल सकता है. एंड दैट कैन बी इंटरेस्टिंग बिकॉज आई न्यू नॉन फिक्शन से आपको सीखने को ही मिलता है, बट दैट कैन बी इंटरेस्टिंग एंड दैट नॉलेज कैन बी इंटरेस्टिंग. सो दैट आई डेंट नो. एंड द बुक that I am talking about right now is The Power of Habit. This book is going to blow away your mind. Actually बताया है, people have done research on habits and the kind of power they have in your life, and it is beyond anything. So just by cultivating the right habits you can do a lot. So reading this book, it's not a self-help book. So इस book को पढ़ के आपको ये तो पता चलेगा ही obviously कि habits की क्या power होती है, and how it can impact your life, how you can change your habits to better your life, to grow. That all will be there, but that is not the best part about this book. The best part is the case studies that have been given in this book about how companies use habit, how they used habit of their employees and of their customers to grow. And that part of the book will blow away your mind. You will like, okay, you know how advanced science has been and how much companies use our habits and how much research they do. At times, the companies just change one habit of their employees or their customer in some way, and just by changing one habit they revolutionize their company. Yes, so it's fascinating. And this book, you should, that's why, you should definitely read this book. You'll get to know so much. You'll get to know the power of habit and the kind of impact habits have, and most importantly for the case studies, they will blow away your mind. Trust me on that. So yeah, that is why you should read this book. Definitely pick it up. Next, we're going to talk about a fiction book that I found very intriguing, and it's Kafka on the Shore by Murakami. जो लोग मुराकामी को जानते हैं उन्हें पता है हिज जॉनर विच इज़ मैजिक रियलिज्म. कुछ भी हो जाता है. जब मैंने बुक ली थी, मैंने बहुत पहले बुक पढ़ी थी, मुझे पता ही नहीं था ऐसा कुछ होता है. आई डिडंट नो मैजिक रियलिज्म जॉनर होता है. आई डिड रीड अ शॉर्ट स्टोरी इन माई स्कूल बट आई फॉरगॉट अबाउट इट. एंड जब मैं ये बुक पढ़ रही थी, लाइक व्हाट इज़ गोइंग ऑन, बिकॉज मैजिक रियलिज्म में तो कुछ भी हो सकता है. what is going on here. आसमान से I think fish were falling from the sky and cats were talking and पता नहीं कौन से पुराने वॉर के सोल्जर्स घूम रहे थे अर्थ पे एंड कुछ भी like anything was happening. It took me some time to understand. और जब मैंने बुक पढ़ भी ली तब भी मुझे बहुत सी चीज़ें समझ में ही नहीं आई इस बुक के बारे में. That's why and I mentioned it on Instagram. So some people question also. So they were like, मैंने Instagram पे पोस्ट दिया तो मुझे ये बुक बहुत अच्छी लगी. People were like, तुम्हें ये बुक समझ में तो आई नहीं है and you are saying तुम्हें अच्छी लगी. Like, are you stupid or what? But guys, just because I did not completely understand this book does not mean I didn't like it. And eventually I did understand. मैंने गूगल वगैरह किया, मुझे अच्छी लगी थी बुक. So it's not like that. I did understand the book eventually. And that is the beauty of this book. That it, वो होता है ना open ended books, आप कुछ भी सोच सकते हो और author के भी ज़्यादा interviews नहीं है. So it's not like you can ask him कि book के मतलब what were you thinking while reading this book or what he wanted to conclude. आप खुद सोच सकते हो बहुत सारी चीज़ें इस बुक में. And okay, so even with that, this book with its magic realism genre, there are so many things that happen, and one thing is for sure that you will be totally hooked to the book. You will be engaged while reading it and you won't be able to put it down. That is why I picked this book up. Next book that we are going to talk about is The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. Now this book is by my favorite author और इनकी मैंने सबसे पहले यही book पढ़ी थी and I liked it so much that I ordered another book that also I liked it a lot, so I ordered another book and it went like that. So this book was the starting point for me and why this book is so great. Again, a book filled with case studies. अगर आपको जानना है हाउ कंपनी, सो द टिपिंग पॉइंट इज कि जैसे कोई भी ग्राफ है, सो इट इज गोइंग अप पर धीरे धीरे लाइक हियर कैन बी अ ग्राफ. सो देयर कम्स अ टिपिंग पॉइंट इन अ ग्राफ जब वो बिल्कुल ऊपर जाने लगता है, लाइक फ्रॉम गोइंग स्ट्रेट इट गोज अप. एंड दिस बुक इज अबाउट दैट. How do you achieve that tipping point or how companies achieved it, how they made their things tip. So it's about all that. एंड यू विल बी लाइक अमेज. जैसे एक चिल्ड्रंस का शो है, एक नहीं दो शोज़ के बारे में इस बुक में बात की गई है एंड हाउ मच रिसर्च दे डिड. कितना उन्होंने चिल्ड्रंस के रिएक्शन को नोट किया, स्टडी किया, कितनी रिसर्च की, साइकोलॉजिस्ट फॉर हायर्ड एंड हाउ मच ईच एंड एवरी एपिसोड ऑफ दैट शो वॉज डिजाइंड. आई मीन हम कोई भी देखते हुए ये सब नहीं सोचता कि कितना एफर्ट गया है एक एक सीन में. रीडिंग दिस बुक विल रियलाइज दैट. एंड जो हम लोग कहते हैं कि लक से सक्सेस मिल गई, लक इज ऑल्सो इम्पॉर्टेंट बट मोर देन दैट आई मीन द एफर्ट पीपल पुट इन देयर वर्क, इन देयर जॉब. आई मीन हेड्स ऑफ टू देम. और भी आपको बहुत कुछ इस बुक में सीखने को मिलेगा. How you can market your product, how you can make your product a bestseller, and much more. And again, many case studies are there in this book. You will get to know so much, you will get to learn so much. And कुछ बुक्स होती है ना जिन्हें पढ़ के आपको बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलता है, and you feel really good. So it is one of those books. Reading this book, you will get to learn a lot. It is an Malcolm Gladwell. He's a master storyteller. You won't be able to put this book down. You'll get to learn so much. Super interesting, super engaging. One of my favorite. And yeah, that is why I picked this book up. Okay. So I didn't think that this will stay till the end. But okay guys, these are the 11 books that we talked about right now in this video. Books that had an impact on me. So these were the 11. In the previous part we talked about 11 of these books, 11 other books obviously. In the next we'll talk about 11 more such books, so stay tuned. Let me know which book you like the most. I have also attached links to all these videos in my description. I get a small affiliate fee if you buy it from there. That really helps me, so if you can, do buy it from there. And thank you so much for being here. Do not forget to watch out my next video, all the remaining books that had an impact on me. And if you have not watched my previous, do watch it as well. And thank you so much for being here. Also, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe as well. I know I'm asking a lot, but just please. And yeah, so okay, so just stay here, stay tuned. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. Bye bye.